Look, I know what guys are going to call me, and I get it. I wonder about myself sometimes. My ex-wife cheated, and I moved her to her parents the next day. Cheat on me, and we're done. No question, no conversation. Done. Then my current wife, whom I have kids with, cheated after 13 years. Not a one-night mistake. Full-blown. Basically living with the guy affair. She got sloppy with excuses, started coming home later, and protective of her phone. So I decided I was looking through her phone. She was going to unlock it and let me look. Luckily, she pulled into the driveway listening to music, so it was unlocked. I grabbed it. Shot to Messenger, and there it was in all its glory. 3 months of conversation with her boyfriend. It went south quick. I had her phone, his number, so I sent him a message that she was his problem now. I'm done, and proceeded to stare at the night sky wondering why. I am a hard worker. Love her with all my heart. Told her every day. I traveled weekly for work, building a career, getting promotions, raises, and respect at my company. Taking great care of my kids when I was home. Tried to show her the love she and I were both missing while I was gone. I did my best. She called me hours later, asking, "That's it? You're done?" I asked her what's left to do. She chose. It was not that simple. We have kids together. I love her for her willingness to carry my children. I love everything about her. I went to see her the next day to see if there was anything to salvage. Told her I was going to ask questions she was going to answer, truthfully. And she did. Boy, did she. She cried, I cried. It was not the sex that bothered me. Honestly. I was pretty promiscuous in my day, taking home some questionable barflies some nights. Before I was married, of course. And I know she had a body count. Didn't bother me. But the lying, telling another guy she loved him, the betrayal was heart-wrenching. It killed me inside. I just couldn't understand. We separated. I spent the time looking at a fork in the road. Life with her, life without her. I could not see a life without her. And I tried. I really tried. I wanted to be done. I wanted to hate her. But I could not see divorce as an option. We did counseling. She convinced herself I couldn't travel so much without cheating. I didn't. She was lonely. I get it. I was too. Our marriage had stagnated. I felt it too. Ultimately, her friends convinced her I was cheating. And with nothing even hinting to that fact in my day-to-day living, she started an affair. I wasn't clueless for 3 months. I knew something was off. I knew something was going on. But it festered until I couldn't take it anymore, and I grabbed her phone. We decided to stay together. First year was rough, but she was a trooper. She told the other guy to leave, and he did. I had a lot of moments where questions would come up, and she answered. She let me see her phone when I asked for it. She brought me down when my emotions ran high. She ate all the for her choice and did everything in her power to fix it. It's been 4 years since that time, and our marriage is on solid foundation again. I think about it once in a while, but it's not very often and fleeting. Sex life is amazing. Our love is unmistakable. We are stronger than before. I've quit my traveling job and am home every night. Neither of us is lonely. We want for nothing from each other. We just need each other. There is hope after cheating, sometimes in rare cases. She messed up and owned it, and she fixed it. And I'm not worried she will ever do it again. My advice, if you find your spouse cheating, look at that fork in the road. With or without them. Follow the little voice in your head. Follow your heart. I truly wanted her to suffer after she made me suffer, but I couldn't see life without her. And I'm glad I did. Wasn't a poor decision in my case. I was in a relationship for 4 years with a man who emotionally controlled and manipulated me. He dictated who I could talk to, demanded my phone access, monitored my social media, criticized my clothes, and built a world where I had to constantly prove I was worthy of basic respect. Meanwhile, he was entertaining multiple women and lying to my face. After finally leaving, I found out he had been seeing someone else behind my back, emotionally and physically. At first, I reached out to her not to fight, but to seek clarity. We talked for hours. We both cried. We realized we'd been lied to, pitted against each other, and love-bombed in parallel. She stated she wanted to protect me. I was an undeniable sense of relief in hearing her say, "No, you weren't crazy. He said that to me too." That moment created a bond. We told each other we'd help one another stay strong, share red flags, and protect the next woman from going through what we did. We'd call during breakdowns, exchange journal entries, pray for each other. I gave her everything I had emotionally, even while I was barely standing myself. I saw her pain and wanted to help her crawl out of it, even if I was bleeding too. But here's where it broke down. She told me she was done with him. Then I found out she was still seeing and sleeping with him, while talking to me, while we were comparing timelines and vowing not to go back. I wasn't angry that she had feelings for him. I understood. I've been there. What cut deep was the dishonesty. She kept asking that I not blindside her, but she did it to me. I felt used, like I was a witness for her guilt, not a friend, her words being respected. When I confronted her, she admitted it and apologized. But from that point on, something shifted. I started noticing her minimizing the pain I experienced. I would bring up deeply traumatic things, like him threatening me, damaging my property, gaslighting me into thinking I was overreacting, and she'd respond with things like, "Well, I didn't experience that," or "He never talked to me like that." It was like I had to convince her that what happened to me mattered. Her behavior also became inconsistent. She'd go from warm and empathetic to distant and avoidant, ignoring messages or deflecting if I brought up anything uncomfortable. I found myself overextending, sending encouragement, offering prayers, checking in constantly, trying to help her process her own feelings while getting little in return. I was turning myself inside out to be emotionally safe for someone who wasn't being emotionally safe for me. And all of this was still happening under the long shadow of our shared abuser. He was still in the background, texting her, calling me, playing games, trying to stay relevant, the same man who shattered both of us. We thought we were healing together, but in reality, I was reliving the same cycle, this time just sideways. Now I'm stuck in this weird space. I don't hate her. I genuinely care for her. I see her wounds. But I also feel like this friendship has become another drain on my spirit. Like I'm bonded not out of mutual growth, but mutual destruction. And I'm scared that I've become addicted to the chaos because it's familiar. I'm a high school student in a prestigious Catholic school. I recently got in a weird argument with one of my friends for defending this girl on the gossip mill who cheated on her boyfriend. She said I was too woke, and my comment got blown way out of proportion, and I feel like I'm being burnt on a stake. Here's the context. This girl, let's call her Zoe, was in a long-term relationship with her varsity basketball player boyfriend. They were the epitome of high school sweethearts. Pretty, smart, rich girl, and athletic, tall, popular boy. Recently, Zoe has received a lot of backlash for a video that got leaked. It was her and this random idiot who shared the video to everyone he knew, having intercourse in the communal bathroom behind the school auditorium. Bear in mind that this was a huge scandal for us. We were in this really strict, religious private school that didn't even tolerate makeup. A little chapstick would get you in trouble. Zoe and he, who I won't even dignify with a fake name, have allegedly been in a secret relationship for a long duration, and a lot of videos of their activities have been leaked since then. someone logged into her social media accounts on the school computer laboratory and released images of her conversations with Idiot, calling each other pet names and constant "I miss you." Because of this, Zoe was mercilessly flamed. Everyone was calling her names, sexualizing her, further spreading the leaked videos. And while all of that was going on, Idiot was praised, like he was some god who was blessed with the opportunity to tap this really hot girl. Nobody seemed to have a problem with him, just her. He flounced around the school like his was a trophy, and he didn't even deserve any of it. He looked fugly, and he's a repeater. Literally, he's been in the same grade twice, and yet no one, at least from my perspective, was giving him the shame he deserved. But this girl was being wrecked. My friends and I were talking about the subject, and they were hopping in on the trend on how horrible a person Zoe was. But no one was mentioning the Idiot. And I perked up. I said, why are we all immediately blaming her for this, and not looking at Idiot? Isn't he equally at fault for this? Now, I don't know Zoe very well. We aren't even friends, so it came as a surprise to everyone to see that I was defending her. One of my friends told me to calm down and that the names they were calling Zoe were just jokes, and I, admittedly so, lashed out. I went off. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was something about the patriarchy, internalized misogyny, all woke stuff. And in turn, I was called too woke. I wasn't saying that she was faultless in all this. She cheated on her loving, devoted boyfriend. But nobody hated Idiot as much as they hated Zoe. That poor girl. Not only was her body leaked and exposed, but she was reaping all of the torment while her accomplice walks around idly by without a care in the world. For a woman, a young Catholic woman at that, with heavy academic pressures, to have that sort of video be available to everyone in school, it could ruin her career. And that Idiot wouldn't even remember it in 2 years. It might even be the best thing he'd accomplish. I understand that she's a capable human being who made the decision to cheat, but Homeboy made the decision to homewreck, as well as compromise all bases of trust by showing everyone private, intimate moments and bragging about it, and I hated everyone else who participated in it. Sharing and replaying the leaked video was only causing more harm. If they thought it was so horrible, why promote it and show other people? Jesus, that's someone's body. The poor girl probably didn't even know it was recording. Ever since that argument, my friends and I have been in discord for supporting a cheater. Edit. For clarification, upon reading some very helpful comments, I wanted to say I'm not mad at everyone for criticizing her as a cheater. She deserved the shame for cheating. She did in fact hurt her boyfriend, and it was horrible of her to do. I'm upset that everyone treats Idiot like he's not equally as horrible for leaking their stuff. I'm also just as upset because people were mostly criticizing the video and their intercourse, but not actually her unfaithfulness. Like, no one said, "Fuck you, Zoe, cheater." They were all just like, "Fuck you, Zoe, you shouldn't be having sex at this age." Insert derogatory term. I wouldn't be as upset if everyone was flaming her for being a cheater. Everyone just didn't like her body, or whatever. I, 25, am going into my senior year of college next semester, and haven't really talked to my father, male 58, in about a year. Because last summer, I found out he gave my cat to the neighbors, who proceeded to neglect him. But it was really just the final nail in the coffin. He wasn't around much when I was very young, since he was in the military, but I at least looked forward to seeing him. We've been growing apart since he remarried when I was around 10, when we kind of just stopped doing things together. D&D was no longer fun if we even did it because my stepmother, F38, went to bed earlier or was a sore player, and he insisted on her playing. We never went to the creek anymore. Lots of broken promises about doing stuff together. He started making fun of me for how I walk. Being a know-it-all. What kid doesn't like sharing fun facts they learned? Sided with my stepmother when she asked if the reason my nose had a bump was because it was broken, and I got mad at her. Even their roommate sided with me when he accused me of faking being sick. She worked in healthcare, I forget as what. Made fun of me for not shaving my legs. Let his friend's kid destroy my Legos when I wasn't there. You get it. He wasn't there for me emotionally or physically. The other finishing move, which I wonder if I'm wrong for, occurred last summer before the cat. My mother lost her job, and I asked him to pay for just my food, and asked for $200 a week. If that seems like a lot for a college student, I am 5'9", do manual labor at work, where I volunteer, and on my off days, go to the gym. I am also trying to gain weight to join the military, as I am underweight. He said no. I was not eligible for food stamps where I live, as you need to work 20 hours a week, and I have a substantial amount of savings for medical school, $100,000. I was working off the books as a dog walker, on the books in the school greenhouse, and as a lice technician. I was also taking organic chem and 2 other easier classes, along with volunteering in hospice, errand services, the ER, and a cat cafe by my school over the summer. I am pre-med and need to get good grades in my classes. Anyways, at this point, I thought back on if my father had financially supported me at all and realized he hadn't. My mother pays all my bills currently. And he didn't even like feeding me when I visited him, and said we would have to discuss rent if I lived with him or in my grandmother's empty house. He doesn't pay my tuition, but he did help me get a no-interest loan, co-signed my other loan with interest, and helped me get a scholarship. However, I consider the scholarship a wash, since he took so long to get me his taxes, and I missed out on other scholarships. He makes $300,000 a year. We are in family therapy now, and he wants me to talk with him.